Hello budding artists and creative minds. Welcome to my channel Watching You. Today, I'll be drawing and explaining the role of Barney Beaverton from Clucky's Logic, animated by Gametoons. Barney Beaverton is one of the antagonists in the new Roblox game, Clucky's, created by Gametoons. An anthropomorphic beaver with a large tail, sharp buck teeth, and several smaller teeth, Barney is outfitted in a yellow construction helmet, safety goggles, yellow gloves, and blue pants with yellow and orange suspenders. Despite his portrayal as a diligent and energetic handyman, Barney's character takes a darker turn due to his insatiable hunger for Clucky's almost chicken. His deep craving for the almost chicken seems to be a result of shady dealings by Clucky, who has exploited Barney's hunger. This intense craving has transformed Barney into a more terrifying figure, driven by an overwhelming appetite for the almost chicken. Barney's unsettling behavior is further exacerbated by his friendship with Rufus Ribbit, suggesting a complex network of relationships within the game. Clucky has even promised Barney a meal of the player, highlighting how the chicken manipulates Barney's ravenous hunger to serve its own purposes. In the Gametoons episode titled, Last Video, the title doesn't quite fit the content. In this episode, Barney Beaverton, the construction expert for Clucky's restaurant, is introduced by Clucky, the restaurant owner and task setter. Clucky assigns tasks such as finding chicken buckets, tokens, slushy machine parts, and eventually, a golden key. As the player progresses to the final task of retrieving the golden key, Clucky warns that Barney will be working overtime, which will soon lead to repairs blocking the player's path. Barney is seen drilling into a safe that's chained with many locks. The player must find the key and bring it to Clucky's office to be promoted to fry cook in the kitchen. After successfully finding the key, the player encounters Barney, who chases them with a hammer. The player has no immediate escape route and must enter a tunnel, only to find Barney closing off the entry point with a hammer. However, the player emerges through an exit and confronts Barney face to face. In a surprising move, the player throws a Clucky toy in the opposite direction. Barney, driven by his aggressive and hungry demeanor, chases after the toy and eats it. This episode suggests that Barney is more than just a construction expert. His aggressive behavior and hunger for the toy hint at a deeper issue, possibly linked to the almost chicken, which may have transformed him into a monstrous figure with a voracious appetite. The episode leaves many questions unanswered about Barney's true nature and his connection to the restaurant. In the second episode, Clucky takes over Gametoons. Two veterans arrive at Clucky's restaurant to search for the player and stay overnight. As the restaurant closes, the night shift begins with hunters Jackson Jackal, Rufus Ribbit, Polar Prince, and Barney Beaverton on the prowl for the veterans. During the chase, one veteran mistakenly refers to Barney as a psychotic squirrel in the chicken restaurant. Barney, armed with a hammer, is hot on the veteran's trail. Through an intercom, Clucky corrects the veteran, clarifying that it is indeed a beaver named Barney. When the veteran enters a room with a trampoline, Barney menacingly says, "I'll reconstruct your whole face." Both Barney and the veteran bounce on the trampoline, with Barney striking the veteran and sending him crashing into a Polar Prince wall poster. The veteran vanishes into the wall, and his fate remains unknown. Meanwhile, the other veteran is frozen by Polar Prince. The episode concludes with the player imprisoned underground. The malevolent Clucky returns, revealing that unruly employees need such grim ends. Clucky ominously notes that the player is special and has big plans for them, ending the episode with a wicked laugh. Barney's fate remains unclear, whether he is left alone on the trampoline or if he somehow finds satisfaction remains unknown. The episode leaves unanswered questions about the veteran's disappearance and Barney's hunger for the almost chicken. In Chapter 3, Clucky is not a monster. Jackson Jackal chases Barney Beaverton as they run toward the dungeon. Barney falls into a pit, and Clucky frightens him, causing Barney to hit a barrel. Barney exclaims that there's a monster, and Clucky agrees. Meanwhile, Rufus has been kidnapped by Jackson Jackal. Barney teams up with Clucky and Polar Prince, all wearing green war hats, to face Jackson and retrieve Rufus in exchange for 100 buckets of chicken. Barney explains that jackals are natural predators of chickens, frogs, beavers, and polar bears, so they need a solid plan for this rescue mission. He decides to use soda cans as weapons. Barney also comes up with the idea of using power-ups to defeat Jackson. With Polar Prince's freeze power, they get close to Rufus and Jackson. Polar Prince throws a chicken near Jackson, causing it to fall off a cliff. Enraged, Jackson attacks Barney and the others with a smoke bomb. Clucky, having drunk some soda, saves Barney and the others. This chaotic adventure is all shown to the player through a video presented by Clucky. The confusion remains: is Clucky a hero or a villain? In the episode, Clucky gets a fan club. 3 fangirls chase Clucky with the intent to capture him. In a twist, Clucky releases Rufus Ribbit, Jackson Jackal, Barney Beaverton, and Polar Prince from their prisons. Each of them confronts the fangirls, leading to a chaotic scene where they defeat and eat the girls one by one. The last fangirl is frozen by Polar Prince and then smashed and destroyed by Barney using his driller. Thanks to the efforts of these imprisoned characters, Clucky is saved from the fangirls. In the episode, Clucky gets his first house. Barney plays a significant role. When Clucky leaves the restaurant to settle with his new family, he hands leadership duties to Polar Prince, Barney, and Rufus. However, Jackson Jackal wants to be the leader and threatens them, even smashing Rufus. He warns that they will be locked up and burdens them with extra work, making Barney and the others yearn for Clucky's return as their leader. Desperate, Barney runs to Clucky's home to explain the situation. Initially, Clucky rejects the idea, but after hearing Mrs. Clucky's encouraging words, he decides to reclaim his leadership. Meanwhile, Barney, Polar Prince, and Rufus are imprisoned by Jackson Jackal. Clucky and his family manage to rescue them, and Barney hammers the prison door shut with a piece of wood, imprisoning Jackson in return. According to tidbits about Barney Beaverton, before his transformation, he was known as Franklin Stone, a popular contractor in South